guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, you are going to learn about how to write linear equations when you have a table of value given to you. Okay, basically when you have x and y values given to you, you can write linear equations. Before we go into how to, let's talk about what really a linear equation is. Okay, linear equations are the it's basically an equation that is written in y equal mx plus b form. Okay, so what really that means is in a linear equation your rate of change is constant. It's a continuous change. It does not change. It's a constant change. Okay, and your b is your y-intercept, that is your starting value. Okay, when x is a 0, that's the value of a y, which is called a y-intercept. Okay, so when here, let's now go talk about how are we going to write it down. Okay, the way I normally do, I do write it down my equation, so it's easy for me to see it, like what goes where. Okay, okay. So when you are doing your linear equations, you need to know what is your slope, which is your m, and what is your b, which is your y-intercept. Okay, I'll mark these things. M is called the slope and b is your y-intercept. Okay, I will go in a little bit more details. What is a slope? Okay, slope is basically a rate of change in y divided by change in the x values. Okay, so change in the y values right here divided by change in your x value, that is the slope, or sometimes it's the rate of change. Okay, you will hear different words. If it's a science, it will be a rate of change. In the math, it's a slope. They kind of means the same thing. Okay, so y-intercept, that is your starting point when x is equal to 0. Okay, so looking at that, your table of value, when x is 0, what is a y? Y in this case is a 3. So now our y-intercept, which is a b, it's going to be b is equal to 3. Okay, that's something we can tell right away. Now we need to find a slope. The way we do, we are going to figure out the rate of change. Okay, so we find the difference between the values here. Okay, the only values written right beside it, not the value 3 and 11. Okay, so the value right, the one is right next to it. Okay, so how many steps I need to take in order to go to 7? Okay, or if the next number is bigger, think about what 3 plus, sorry, I meant to say plus 3 plus what will give me 7? That's a 4. Okay, and then 7 plus what will give me 11? That's also 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just going to erase this one, make it a little bit better. That's also 4. And 11 plus what will give me 15? It's a 4. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side, on the x side. X plus what will give me 1? Plus 1. 1 plus 2, sorry, 1 plus what will give me 2? That's also 1. And that also 1. I hope you got the point now, what I exactly did. Okay, so if you look at that, they are same. And this side is also same. The change is the same. That means it is a linear relation. Okay, so now what I will do it here, so it's going to be slope equal, what's the change in y, which is 4, divided by change in x, it is 1. Okay, so what's a 4 divided by 1? It's a 4. Okay, so when you write your equations, as I said, I always write it down so it's easy for me to see where things goes. Okay, so now you just plug in the values for slope and y-intercept. So it will be y equal, what is your slope? We just did a 4. You keep x as it is, plus b is a 3. Okay, when you write your equation, only m and b change around. X and y's are already given to you. Okay, so your equation is changing when your x is changing. When whatever x is, it will give you corresponding y value. Okay, anything written in y equal mx plus b form is called a linear equation. Okay, what is not a linear? Let's also talk about that. So y equal 4x squared plus 3, it's non-linear. Okay, you will learn later on linear, non-linear, what kind of graph you are going to get when you graph equations like that. For now, our focus is only linear equations, so we're only going to talk about linear equations. All right, so let's do the next one. All right, so my table of values given to you. Okay, so x is 0, 1, 2, 3, y is -4, -2, 0, and 2. Okay, so we need to write our linear equation. I will write my linear equation form, which is y equal mx plus b. Anything written in that form, that is a linear equation. Okay, so I need to figure out what is my y-intercept and what is my slope. In the previous example, we already talked about what is our y-intercept. Y-intercept is when your x is 0. Okay, x is equal to 0. When x is a 0, y is -4. So that means b is equal to -4. Okay, so now m, it's the variable in the mathematical. There are special variable used for special words. So m is used for slope. I need to find what is my slope, so which is change in y divided by change in your x values. Change in x, what is the change here? Change in y, what is the change here? Okay, that's all you need to figure out. I know you do get confused with these symbols. This is just a mathematical way to write equations. Okay, so change in y, let's figure out. From -4 to -2, how many steps we need to take to go from -4 to go down to -2? Which is positive 2. From -2 to 0, that's also 2. From 0 to 2, that's also positive 2. Okay, let's look into our x. Okay, from 0 to 1, you just need to add 1. From 2 to 1, you're adding 1. Sometimes these numbers will be negative. Okay, but so it depends on if this is negative, that means you need to keep your negative symbol there. Now your rate of change in y. What's the change in y? This is your change in y, whatever is written on a y side. Change in y is 2 divided by, what is the change in x? Is 1. Okay, all right, which is 2 divided by 1 is 2. The reason I also do change in x is sometimes some teachers don't show up the change in x. They only show change in y. Then they say, okay, this is the pattern there. It's a linear equation. Sometimes the reason I do both of them is because when sometimes on x side the change is 2, 3, 4, depends. Okay, so even though it's a 1, I always show so that you guys don't get confused. All right, so now I have my y-intercept and I have my slope. These are the two things I need to write my equation. So which is going to be y equal mx plus b, and it is, what is my m? That is 2, so 2x plus what is your b? -4. Okay, so it's -4. I'm just going to rewrite one more time. 2x, these two signs will change it to 1, -2x minus 4. Okay, this is your linear equation for the second one. All right, so I hope these questions are making sense. I'm sure they are. Okay, All right, so last question. So what I would like you to do for this particular question, pause the video for a moment and see if you can figure out. Yeah, maybe if not the question, at least figure out the change in x and y values. All right. Okay. All right, so I hope you guys were able to do that. Let's see if you are right. Okay, I just like to write my equation, just helps me to see it. Okay, so I need to find a b and I need to find m. Okay, I'll write my b. It's so easy to do it. Not going to write all the words here. What is your b? That's your y-intercept. When x is 0. When x is 0, y will be also 0. So your y-intercept is 0. Okay, and now I need to just do my slope. Slope is change in your y divided by change in your x. So what is the change here? Let's do that. From 0 to 6, how many steps I need to take in order to go to 6? Or 0 plus what will give me 6? It's 6. 6 plus what will give me 12? If you add a 6 to that, and so on. Okay, so let's look at the change in x, which is positive 1. Okay, all right. So now change in y is a 6, and what's the change in x? It's a 1, which is 6 divided by 1 is 6. Forgot to choose my red color. Okay, so now, so your m is 6, b is your 0. So when you're going to write your equation, it's y equal mx plus b. Okay, in this case b is a 0 and m is 6, so will be y equals 6x. Well, I'll say plus 0. Do you really need to write a 0? Not really. Okay, so your equation will be y equal 6x. That's pretty much all. Okay, so this is how you write your linear equations from a table of value. One thing, there might be a question when you do find a change here. Let's say this is 6, next one comes to 3, next one comes to 1. That's not a linear. That means you cannot write equation in y equal mx plus b form. Okay, so your answer for that particular question will be it's not a linear, so that means you cannot write an equation. All right, so thank you very much, and I hope it's nice and clear. Any questions, please put that in the comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.